$250. Ah, yes. Now it's being recorded. I'm not going to start all over again, but I am going to reiterate that for those of you here, I will randomly pull two names who are here live, and you will automatically, the two of you will win the performer discounts in the amount of $250 to use for a performer for this summer. You do have to use the library theme, though, and there are guidelines that I will then send to you to explain how the whole program that works. Um, Most of you who are here, you found that the New Jersey summer reading website, you found it. That's the local one. That's where we have book lists. We have links to our Pinterest pages, and all of the handouts from what everyone shares with you today will be posted probably by the end of the week. Um, we also have some other materials there, sort of some stuff just for parents to kind of, share why reading's important. Then there's the CSLP website, which is a different website. You have to subscribe to both, and both of them are only for library folks. They do check, so we don't have anyone who actually tries to log in and subscribe who isn't in a library. As you all know, CSLP is the national website, so that's where resources from all over the country are included. That's where, if you want to join CSLP, there's a lot of different subcommittees, and we welcome new members. All the committees meet virtually, which includes things like the vendor committee, artwork committee, membership committee, budget and finance committee, and there's just a whole bunch of other ones. And we love it if people from New Jersey join because I have to say, all of our states are a little competitive. I always keep track of how many folks from my state are part of that. Um, CSLP also has their own Pinterest pages, but they also have the manuals, of course, and they have all the artwork, and they have let's see, they have a list of partners, and one partner, new partner this year is the American Museum of Natural History, and I think I've sent this out on the discussion list. They are doing a video presentation, or rather a webinar, um, on March 24th. It's the half an hour, but then the other half an hour, I think, is questions and answers. And they are providing videos that you can use about dinosaurs that you can use in your libraries. And I think the webinar will also have some programming ideas. CSLP also picks a summer reading champion, and Dan Santat is the summer reading champion for this year. He also was our keynote speaker at the CSLP Summer Symposium, which is always held in December. Dan has created a poster that you can download um, from the CSLP website, and he also has a how to draw a dinosaur activity sheet, which you can download as well. Um, and I don't know if they have any left, but for a while, the CSLP, if you were ordering more things from their vendor, while supplies lasted, they had a free poster that they would just mail to you automatically. Um, but you can go to the CSLP website and look for Dan Santat's information. Um, let's see. Some of the other partners that you may know about are the Brag Tags. Brag Tag folks, they're a partner. Um, not concerned citizen. Citizen Science is also a partner, and they do webinars as well. CSLP has been trying to do a lot more CE professional uh, development programming for all the members. CSLP also has support materials such as a template for a 3D dinosaur, a Digby 3D printing file. Digby's our little mascot dinosaur, the little blue one. Um, their Hoopla is another partner, and they have a resources poster available you can download. There are Canva templates, there are planning calendars, there's an event flyer, Facebook banners, Facebook other things, book lists. The book lists I know are a little bit older because the manuals are done at least a year and a half in advance. So that's why if you go to the New Jersey summer reading website, you'll find our Pinterest pages have more recent books. But this is all to say that CSLP has a lot of stuff on the website. So if you're only going there just to download the manual, do take some time and look to see what other materials are available. They also have a social media toolkit, which they provide for everybody as well. Um, so I think I've really talked a little bit about what both websites are. I mean, the only other thing I wanted to mention is that I do require you to submit your statistics. We are part of a national survey, so I don't ask how many books have been read by your library. If you're keeping track of that, well, it is a customized question. I do ask it, but it's only an optional one, because we're less concerned now about number of books read, and it's more summer learning rather than summer reading. So any type of learning activities that you're doing in the summer, if it's I don't know, go out and clean up your neighborhood or, work with a community group. That counts as kind of a programming slash, literacy slash learning activity. So that's all part of summer reading. So I'm more concerned with the experiences that the kids have and less with number of books. And I think a lot of libraries are also switching to time read or just reading 20 minutes each day. I think that's more valuable than just having a straight, this is how many books are read. But that being said, the state librarian does still ask for that. But I'm not so concerned with comparing statistics from one year to another because I know it's not easy to even do that kind of comparison. We are really trying to get away from that because some of you may be aware that CSLP has also been partnering with an IMLS funded state that got a grant to do building community-based summers. I've done it in New Jersey with some libraries and it was called Building Equity-Based Summers at the time, but now it's called Building Community-Based Summers. And the whole idea is to have libraries think about why you're doing what you're doing for summer reading. Why are you having them register? Why are you having them, do the same old thing? The idea is to get community members more involved and actually actively co-design your summer reading program with you. And not only that, but also come in and do the programming. Do the programming out in the community where the community members are, because they know some of those people in the community know their fellow community members, especially if you have a really diverse population. So we're trying to kind of re encourage libraries to revamp why you're doing it and what the point is, and make sure that community members are really included in all the programming. Um, so that's, I think, all for me. I am going to put in the chat. Um, I have reached out to some statewide organizations, Edelman's, which is there a fossil museum at Rowan University. I was trying to do a statewide program with them to see if they could do discounts for libraries. They did not really give me a whole lot. They're doing a library pass, but you have to pay for it, and I think it's like one of those uh, punch cards. You go to the museum so many times, and then you get a 10% discount on your next visit. So I don't really consider that much of a discount, but they also do programming in libraries as well. So I'm sharing that just for informational purposes only. It is actually an image, so I hope you can see it. So thanks very much. If you have any questions, feel free to just, put it in the chat during this workshop. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Sharon, for sharing that. It's all extremely important. Um, Forgot to mention we have another member of our committee, Bree Mintz Hanley from the Scotch Plains Public Library. She's out sick today, so I have a video of all of her ideas. I'm going to share my screen now, or I'm going to try to share my screen now to show you the video of her ideas. Um, Let me know if there's any issues with the recording. Oh, nope. Okay.
And I'm the early literacy librarian at the Scotch Plains Public Library. So I work with our littlest patrons, and most of my programs are focused on
Oop.
music and play. Every program I run is based on the 5 practices of every child ready to read: talking, singing, reading, writing, and playing. These are skills that develop language and pre reading skills essential for kindergarten readiness. So, by developing these skills from birth, children enter school prepared to read, which boosts long term academic success, vocabulary, and cognitive development. So, in some way, all of these programs today incorporate these skills. A lot of my ideas today can also be adapted for older kids, but my focus is mainly on our littlest friends at the library. So, my first idea is, of course, a dinosaur dig. We typically do one in November in honor of Dinovember, but I'm going to host one this summer too. So, before the program, I usually like to read a story to get everybody really excited. So, this year I'm going to read Dig Dig Dinosaur, and we're going to sing some very fun dinosaur themed songs. So once I finish reading and singing with the kids, I like to do a quick rundown of the room for parents and caregivers. So what I like to do for our dinosaur dig is I usually set up the room in a big square with 4 tables. Um before the program begins, and I usually will put a tarp under the tables with the sand just to kind of keep the mess to a minimum. I am going to note here that our sand was donated by a wonderful local family, so it didn't cost us anything. We did purchase all the other supplies for this program. Um, so what I try to do is I make stations to keep the room moving and not clog up the dig site, which is of course the most popular station. So on one table I'll put out crayons and dino dig maps for the kids to decorate, as well as dinosaur coloring pages and crayons. Um, on another table I'll put out air dry clay, rolling pins, and plastic dinosaurs for the kids to make their own dinosaur fossils, which was a very popular station last year. It's really easy, and all they have to do is roll out a circle from the clay and press the dinosaur into the clay to get the best imprint. It takes a little bit for the clay to dry, so I usually offer paper plates to carry them home on, and it's kind of like a fun souvenir. On the last 2 tables, I will put out bins of sand. Today, for demonstrations, I'm using salt, and I'm going to put out some plastic dinosaur fossils, sand, paintbrushes, shovels, and spoons for the kids to dig with. So before the program, I bury these little dinosaur fossils, and I actually will have cute little signs indicating where the kids should start digging. Um, this is a great program, by the way, for your teen volunteers to get some hours in. And I have to say, my teen volunteers are amazing, and I truly couldn't pull this off without them. Dinosaur digs are always a really big hit at my library, so I'm really excited to run this program again. It's such an easy program to run. So when I was browsing Pinterest for some ideas, I found a really cool way also to do a mess-free dinosaur dig. And I'm also probably going to put this out during the play portion of my story times. So all I did was I took a big Ziploc bag. You could see that here. And I did about a tablespoon of regular flour and water and kind of mushed it all together. And then I added some orange food coloring just because it kind of looks like dirt and mud. Once that was done, I taped it to a tray we typically use for crafts. On the back of the tray, I taped some dinosaur fossils, and this is a great way to do like a mess-free dinosaur fossil. I think this is a really great way for kids with sensory issues to be able to participate in a dinosaur dig, and it'll be fun to have a playtime sensory station that doesn't make a big mess. So this is also our mess-free dinosaur dig. This is going to be the worst pun I make today, but we're also going to be hosting a T-Rex tea party this summer. We're going to invite kids to come dressed in their tea party finery to enjoy snacks and iced tea, and I'm planning to read T-Rex by Molly Idle to kick off the festivities. We're going to talk about proper tea party etiquette as well as dinosaur tea party etiquette. So things like proper tea party etiquette says to sip quietly and keep your pinky out, but dinosaur tea party says put your tail out and sip as loud as you can. And at a proper tea party, you always say please and thank you when asking for food or tea to be passed, but dinosaurs roar instead of using their manners. So for our special party, I'm planning on serving dinosaur dirt cups and other fun themed snacks. I'm also planning on probably doing this early just so it doesn't make as much of a mess. I have some other fun ideas for themed snacks like dino bones, pretzel sticks, dino claws, bugles, and dinosaur eggs, cheese balls. We might do a fun themed craft, but this is just a really fun way to have a tea party and have the kids have some fun. So I have another fun craft, and this one I'm really excited about. We are going to make our own dinosaur tails. I found this one on Pinterest, and I was so excited that it came out so well. We all, I'm sure, have a surplus of cardboard and recycling. So I cut a large triangle out of cardboard, and then I used construction paper in fun colors to make a triangle slightly larger than the cardboard triangle. I used sequins to decorate, and then I also cut some squiggles out with scissors. I think I just used some scissors to cut some triangles, punched some holes in the top, and tied some elastic to the holes so I could wear my dino tail. When I do this with the kids, I'm going to put out big sequins, markers, crayons, and pom poms, and let them decorate their tails however they want. This was just a really cute one, and it came out awesome. So I'm so excited to see the kids wearing their dino tails. So my next ideas have to do with a program that I do every week, and it's called Once Upon an Easel. So every Wednesday, I do a shorter version of my story time, and then we make a craft based on what we've read. I love this program because messy art is one of the best ways for children to explore the world around them with all of their senses, and they develop fine motor skills and hand eye coordination in the process. So during this program, we've read The Dot by Peter Reynolds, and we've painted our own dots. We've read Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus, and we've painted a pigeon. We've read Love Monster and made negative space heart paintings. We read Old Bear recently and painted bears with forks, just to give you an idea of some of the fun things we've done. So this summer, I'm planning, of course, to read a bunch of fun dinosaur books and do a related projects. I actually borrowed this one from the manual. We are going to read Have You Seen My Invisible Dinosaur? And we are going to make marbled shaving cream dinosaurs. So I'll squirt a bunch of shaving cream into a container. You marble in some paint and you stir it with a skewer or a pencil, and then you have the kids dip their dinosaur into the mixture. After you lift it out of the shaving cream, you use a squeegee or even an old gift card would work great to scrape the shaving cream into another bin. They dry really quickly and they come out beautifully. So I have another idea, and that is to read Stomp, Soar, Dino, Roar, and either do plastic dinosaur stomping. You can do this on just some paper with their little feet, or I might get a little wild this summer and take the kids outside to do feet painting on butcher block paper on our lawn. Gonna depend on the weather, how brave I'm feeling. We're also going to read We Love Dinosaurs, and we are going to make hand print dinosaur paintings. This is a really easy one. You just paint your whole hand green, press it onto some paper, and then use markers or paint to make little toes, a smile, and you use a big googly eye, and they come out so cute. And we are also going to read Dinosaur Day, and we're going to use cotton balls to paint these beautiful little dinosaurs. They come out so great, and it's so much fun to dip your cotton balls in the paint and make a beautiful, messy masterpiece. So these are just some of my ideas, friends. I hope you have a wonderful summer, and I will see you all soon. Thank you.
Mhm. Thank you. All right, Jerry, I believe you're up.
Hi again, everybody. My name is Jerry Tomaszewski, and I'm the Senior Library Assistant in the Rockaway Borough Public Library in Morris County. I have a couple of ideas for you. Hopefully you like something that you take back to your own library and do for the summer. My first one is to do some cave painting decorations. So this I just use some cardstock, but you can use cardboard boxes or paper bags or butcher paper. I used oil pastels, but you can put chalk, do chalk or go authentic and go with clay or mud or coal and do some some cave paintings to decorate the library. The little kids can do this with finger painting, finger paints, and just it's a fun craft to do, and then you can decorate your library with that. My next item is the tissue box dinosaur feet, which is a lot of fun. So you need an empty tissue box, and I put some duct tape to make the hole smaller, so it depends on the child's foot, but you can measure it and then duct tape it. Then I decoupage some tissue paper on one side. You could also paint it, so I painted the other side just to give you an idea. I glued some cut up sponges that I got at the Dollar Tree on here. Obviously, the kids are going to need 2 feet because you can't have a one-footed dinosaur. And then they can stomp around the room and have a lot of fun with that. They can use Bree's dinosaur tail craft to do that as well. This way you have a matching set. My next idea is to do Model Magic dinosaur footprints. So I used the plastic dinosaur, rolled up some Model Magic. They come in all different colors, or you can paint it. I got brown from Michael's, and just roll it into a ball, flatten it out, and then I put the dinosaur imprint on there, and then I painted it. Before it dried, I put a little hole with a straw. This way I can hang it and have a little dinosaur necklace. This one I did a feather, but you can do leaves to get another imprint. I don't know if you can see that. To get an imprint for that. You could also get dinosaur cookie cutters, and this one I made a footprint. I put a hole on top if they want to hang it. It needs to dry about a day, but you can give them a paper plate to bring it home on. This way it'll dry up, and then they can paint it after that. My next idea is the dinosaur silhouette with oil pastels. So this I used watercolor paper. I put oil pastels in lines. I put some painter's tape in the circle to make sure that the sun doesn't get smudged with the colors. But after you put your colors, just smudge it, peel that off, and you can put some yellow. These are dinosaur silhouettes that I printed on label paper. And this way I cut it out and peeled it off and stuck it on. But you could also use old school carbon paper, and then you can trace out the dinosaur in front of it, and then they can color it in because it'll come out like that if you trace it with the carbon paper, or they can just draw their own dinosaurs. This is a fun project. I thought it came out pretty cool. You could do different size watercolor paper, but I like the 5x7. It's nice and compact. My next idea is dinosaur eye magnets. I use these bottle cap magnet kit that I got in at Amazon. So this I just use cardstock and paint to make a dinosaur eye. These trays that they look like bottle caps, and it comes with the plastic from Amazon. You get about 100 for $13, and I bought the magnets separate. If you don't want to be creative and make your own eyes, you can also just print up some eyes off the internet or off our CSLP website and make a whole bunch of magnets for the refrigerator, for their locker, wherever they want to hang them. My next idea is a dinosaur terrarium. So I just recycled an old jar. I added some rocks, some moss. You can use grass. I put some plastic trees in there, obviously a dinosaur. And I also added a fairy light in orange that I had left over from a fall project. But let me show you how that looks. It'll look pretty cool. This way it looks like a little fire in the sky if you go with that. I thought that was pretty interesting for the kids' rooms. My next project is a busted canvas. If you haven't heard of busted canvas, it's pretty cool. You can find tutorials online and on YouTube. But this is a busted canvas, what it looks like. So I painted the back of the canvas in green, and I decorated the front, and then you get another piece of cardboard or canvas for the back, and you put the picture in. You cut it like into a pizza shape, and you peel them back and glue it. So looks like it's busting out. I put his talons on the outside, add some greenery so it looks three-dimensional, and that's a pretty cool craft for teens or adults. I wouldn't recommend this for kids because you do have to use a X-Acto knife or scissors to cut out your canvas that's going to be glued back. Okay, my next item is a dinosaur clothes rack. So this, I cut dinosaurs in half and I glued them on a piece of wood. This is actually a TimberTech sample board that I got because I was redoing my deck. You can get some free samples from TimberTech, or you can just use some scrap wood, maybe an old pallet. I cut them and I glued them with E6000 glue along with E6000 glue along with hot glue. Glue them on. This has been on for quite a while and it's pretty sturdy. But what you can also do is fill the back of the dinosaur with some. I filled them all with hot glue and then some pieces of wood. So if you want to drill through the back and make it sturdier, but this, like I said, I glued this a while ago and it's still hanging on. You could add some sawtooth picture hangers in the back, and you can make a really cool coat hanger. Obviously, going to be stuck with the tails, so you can do one for the tails as well. So they have 2 coat hangers. Really fun. So I also had some leftover dinosaurs from that project, and I made dinosaur bookends. Again, this is made with TimberTech samples that I got from the lumber yard, and I just glued the front and the back together onto the 2 TimberTech boards. I spray painted this and then painted it, but they can just paint it. And then they can have a really cool, let me hold this differently so you can see it better. Really cool set of bookends. And that could be for, the kids can do it because it's not that difficult. It's really just gluing. Again, the E6000 glue with hot glue works great together to make it, because the E6000 glue doesn't dry fast, so you want to use the hot glue to hold it together while it's gluing for good. And to offset my dinosaur collections of items, I'm going to put out a little sign for a dinosaur donation drop-off box so people can donate gently used or new dinosaurs to offset all these dinosaur programs I'm doing over the summer. And my final project is my little, why not unearth a plant instead of just unearthing our dinosaurs? So I'm doing a little lady planter, which I affectionately call the pothead. And I just painted on some eyes and nose. I glued on a bead for her nose. I drew on the eyes and the mouth and put the little wooden bead for the nose. These are adult size glasses, but if you're using a smaller pot, I would recommend getting a child's size glasses. Poke out the lenses, glue those on, put a little bandana. You can use it with real plants or just plastic. And this is a cute project maybe for the teens or the adults. Maybe have an adult pot night. Not that, I didn't mean to say it that way. But that's that. And it's really cute idea to make for the summer for Unearth Our Stories. So that's it. That's what I have. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Everything will be on the website with the instructions. And have a great summer, everybody.
Great. Thanks, Jerry. I believe Leela is next.
Hello, everyone. You can hear me, right? Sorry, my computer's a little slow, so it looks like I'm stalling, but I don't know if you can see me.
You're good.
Okay, cool. All right, so like I'm saying, I'm Leela Arnold. I work at the Cranford Public Library. This year when I thought of Unearth the Story, I know everyone went with like dinosaurs and paleontology, but I went for archaeology. So we're going to take a visit to Egypt first. My first craft is for little ones. I thought it'd be cute to do like a little mummy story time or something. And I made a pharaoh collar out of a paper plate. It's very simple. You just cut it, obviously. I used tempera paint sticks to paint this, but it's a pain to get into like the little lines here. So I'd recommend actually painting it. I just did it fast, obviously, for this. I tried to draw a cute little scarab in the bottom there. These are supposed to be like rubies. This is very simple, very fun, and then they can, wear it on their way out. My next craft, I thought it would be cool to do a cartouche with hieroglyphs. I don't have the box with me, but I have this really cool box from the museum, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, that had stamps with hieroglyphs on it. And it actually shows you like how to read them and whatever. So from that, I stamped this air dry clay, and this is my name in hieroglyphs. This is the L sound. These 2 reeds are the E sound. It's L again. And then this vulture is Ah. So it's Leela. And then I just kind of decorated it. Again, I probably wouldn't make it this big. I just made it this big for the sake of the sample. You can make it a little bit bigger. I put a hole in it so they could even wear it out if they wanted to make like a little medallion. But this is, they could do their names. If you don't have that set, like I was just talking about, of the stamps, obviously there's lots of hieroglyphs that you could print online for free. And then they could use like a little stick to just draw. These are left over from the scratch art. I'm sure a lot of people have these somewhere in the bottom of their closet. My next craft I thought was going to be really fun. I'm going to ask for donations for this, like Jerry's doing with her dinosaurs, but I'm going to ask for Barbies, Captain America dolls, whatever, anything that they could bring in so we can mummify our doll. This is just a fun fashion doll from the Dollar Tree. I covered her hair with plastic wrap, and then I just wrapped her in masking tape. They could draw on here when she's done. Like they could do little cartouches. They could make a collar. They could do whatever they want. Well, I went a little nuts. I decided to do this and then cover it with clay. I'm really into clay this year. I don't know why. So this is my mummy. This is just the air dry clay again. You can kind of see I drew just with the marker. His face is a little too small for his body, but whatever, it works fine. And then this is just a black marker. But they could paint, they could do the stamps if you have them, or they could put hieroglyphs on it. You could also have them bring it home and unearth their mummy. They can like dig him out if they want. To make this head shape, I also just used a little piece of aluminum foil that I just kind of just wrapped around so you get that, that head shape. Of course, a mummy always has canopic jars, right? So you can make your own canopic jar with a toilet paper roll. This is just my version of a cat. I tried. I'm not an artist. But yeah, just fold down, make it look like little ears, and then they could draw and decorate, paint, and make their own little canopic jar to go with their mummy. Another craft. Again, like I said, I'm really into clay. I decided to actually make a scarab. So this is just crunched up aluminum foil, and I wrapped it in the clay. I used this, not the pointy end, but the round end, just made the little lines. And then I went in with a marker, but I don't know, you can kind of see the lines messy. I would recommend maybe an actual paintbrush would look better. You could use the white clay and then paint it blue and then whatever you want. Like I just happen to have the blue Model Magic clay. So this worked perfectly and it's pretty cool. I got my own little scarab. Another Egyptian craft would be to make your own papyrus. I don't know, I'm doing the influencer thing. Sorry, I don't have nails. This is just strips of brown paper bag that you can kind of see how it's glued on. Like a paper mache glue, I mixed white glue with water, dipped each piece in, and put it on top of a piece of paper. The instructions will tell you to use wax paper. Do that. I did not. I just kind of grabbed the first paper I found, and it was parchment paper. This does not peel off. The wax paper will peel off. So then you will just have just the brown on both sides. So make sure you follow that wax paper. But this is pretty cool. And then again, you could like have them draw their own hieroglyphs on here or whatever they want. They have their own papyrus. Now I'm going away from Egypt, and I thought it'd be fun to go and talk about some Vikings. So I have a fun Viking craft for little ones. There's a cute little book called The Littlest Viking that I found on our shelf. So I thought it'd be a cute story time, and then they can make their own Viking ship. Sorry, the glue's coming out a little bit, but this is their, the sail. You could see this is just a little pipe cleaner. I threw that in there to make it look like the wooden decorations. The other one fell out traveling. Sorry. Again, it's just a paper plate. I would recommend maybe actually painting it because you see how hard it is getting those lines. Or you can leave it like this because it kind of gives it like a fake wood effect. I don't know. That'd be a fun little craft for little ones. For older kids, I always do a Kids Can Cook program. We've never done bread, so I found a Viking bread recipe that apparently has been around for forever. It's like an authentic Viking recipe. So we're going to try this. It's just oats and flour, and then you put honey on top, salt, obviously. That would be fun. I can't wait to do that, actually. Now, I was talking about Egyptian hieroglyphs. I figured you could also do the same thing with the runes. Just get I didn't do a sample, but you could see, get the clay, the air dry clay again, and you can get a printout of runes online, and they can write their own name in runes, which is pretty cool. At the Cherry Hill workshop, a lovely librarian down there told me that the American Swedish Museum in Philadelphia actually has a Viking program that they could come to your library to do, which is pretty cool. They basically do the same kind of thing, but they also talk about Viking burial mounds and things like that. So I'm hoping to get them this summer. Fingers crossed. Oh yeah, one more thing. Two more things. Sorry. Since we're talking about archaeology and stuff, you want to pretend to be Indiana Jones. You can't do that without your own map. So I recycled this from a pirate story time I did. So I'm going to do a little archaeological dig map. They have to just cuts of paper. I'm going to let them do this themselves. I'm not going to have anything pre-cut because I think it's more fun for the kids to make their own shapes and stuff. And then just give them a marker to X marks the spot. And another craft idea I had, I almost forgot, I have two more, would be doing like a Lego stem. It's very hard to make Lego pyramids, so I thought it'd be cool to introduce what a ziggurat is, because obviously, the levels here, this looks more like a ziggurat than a pyramid. So you can describe about ancient Babylon and Mesopotamia and things like that with the ziggurat. And also, when you unearth fossils and stuff, you also unearth gems. So I have this cool little gem craft. Oops. This is ice cream salt, glue, and just color. I use liquid watercolor, but you could use food color. You only need a little bit because it will seep out when it's drying. This takes about a day and a half probably to dry, so I would give them the paper plate to take home or the paper bowl you're using even. You just basically mix the glue and ice cream salt, which I found at Walmart. You mix it together until it forms this little shape. It all gets together. You can't really see, but if you look closely, you can see how it sparkles, little crystal. This is the ice cream salt. This is why you want it, because this is big. This is really fun. This is fast. Like I said, the only thing that's just a drying time. You could even have them come back and get it if you want, or they could just bring it home and wait till it dries. And it holds up pretty well. I don't think a couple of pieces of salt came off, but other than this, I've traveled back and forth 3 times. I love this. This is cool. And then the last one is Bug and Amber. I almost forgot. This is similar to Jerry's craft. I didn't get a kit. I actually got actual bottle caps, but I drew a little bug, colored the background, and Amber glued it in there. And I don't know, I hope you can see. It kind of looks like a bug and Amber. Obviously, if they're better artists than me, they could do like dragonflies, things like that. And I was thinking, since Jerry did do the eyes, I have the bugs. Maybe we could make like our own little chess set or something. Because these are really cheap. You could get like 100 of these for $1. So the kids would probably be able to make enough if you get a couple of sets of those. And you just need, if you don't buy the kit that Jerry has, you can just have someone donate their bottle caps. Like someone I know obviously drinks Michelob Ultra. And it works. They can just paint the background so they don't have a beer cap walking around. But that's my last one. I hope you enjoy. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Leila. I believe our next presenter is Karen.
Hi, everyone. Again, I'm Karen. I'm a children's librarian at the New Brunswick Free Public Library. So each year I create what I call the K-6 summer reading passport, where children, they earn stamps for doing activities at the library or at home, for reading books, and for attending library programs. So for this year's passport, I'm combining the Unearth a Story theme with the America 250 theme. And I also came up with like 6 sub-themes. So we're going to do Unearth Your Story, Unearth the Library Story, Unearth New Brunswick Story, Unearth New Jersey Story, Unearth America's Story, and Unearth the Planet Story. So I'm just going to give a couple ideas, 1 or 2 ideas for each of those sub-themes. So for Unearth Your Story, I thought the kids could do a family tree. So they could do just a simple printed out family tree where they fill in their family members' names, or they can even draw pictures of their family members. I got this from freefamilytreetemplates.com. And I was also able to upload this to Canva and then create like a Spanish language version. In addition to that, they could do like a 3-dimensional family tree. So I just put some pipe cleaners into Play-Doh, which then hardened, and then added my family members' names on each leaf that I taped to the pipe cleaners. And then, of course, they could also decorate the flower pot if they so choose. Also, for Unearth Your Story, I thought they could do a time capsule. So this is just a paper version, and again, they could fill that out. We could fold it origami style into an envelope, and I thought I would also take an Instax photo of them at the program so they could stick that into the envelope that they create and maybe decorate the outside of the envelope and say don't open until summer 2027, something like that. And they could also do a 3D version of a time capsule. So these are those wee yogurt jars. And I was able to find caps for them. You could get caps from Walmart online, I think also from Amazon, that perfectly fit the wee jars for various crafts. But yeah, I thought they could decorate the jar and just collect little things over the summer, like seashells or pebbles, bottle caps. All right, so that's Unearth Your Story. For Unearth the Library Story, I just created on cardstock a little drawing of the outside of our library. And so I'll just have these on the cardstock, and they would just cut it out and fold it to make it into a 3D version of the library. So that'll be like a passive craft that they could do. Also, at various times I've created little simple scavenger hunts, either for people to learn about different areas of the library. So you could do that. You could also have one for younger children that just has pictures of different areas of the library that they can have to find in order to complete the scavenger hunt. All right, so that's Unearth the Library Story. For Unearth New Brunswick Story, so a number of famous people and happenings are from New Brunswick. So Paul Robeson, he was a Rutgers valedictorian. He was basically a Renaissance man, so he was a scholar, an athlete, an actor, a singer, an activist. And his granddaughter, Susan Robeson, wrote this book, Grandpa Stops a War. So it's just about a brief period of his life when he was in Spain during the Spanish Civil War, and his singing actually stopped the war for a little bit. It brought some peace. So I thought along with this, you could make a little dove craft out of paper plate. Also in New Brunswick, we have Johnson & Johnson, has been around a long time. And an employee of Johnson & Johnson many years ago, Earl Dixon, he invented the Band-Aid in 1920. So there's actually a picture book about that called The Boo-Boos That Changed the World by Barry Wittenstein and illustrated by Chris Shue. So along with reading that, I found the STEM project from the Smithsonian Science Education Center, which provides different scenarios for different injuries for which you might need a bandage. And then it tells you what type of bandage you need. So children can work in teams to create the bandage that fits that description. So you could give them various materials so they could decide, what would work best. And they can kind of create their little bandage. This is wax paper and masking tape and a cotton ball. And they could also test out their bandage with a pipette and see how much water each bandage could hold. And then they could also design a little packaging for their Band-Aid. And then one other thing that happened in New Brunswick is the first American football game took place in New Brunswick between Rutgers and Princeton. So along with that, they could create what usually is called a catapult. In this case, we're going to call it a football launcher. And I got these little footballs through Walmart online. So then after they create their football launcher, they can, of course, test it out, see how far their football goes, do some engineering, retool, see if they can make it go further, higher, whatever they choose. All right, so that is Unearth New Brunswick story. For Unearth New Jersey story, I thought we would do a program about the Lenapes, and then they could create a little corn husk doll, and they could leave it like this. They could decorate it with markers, or they could add some clothing, just some simple pieces of felt. All right, for Unearth America's story, I found a punch tin crafts lantern museum on the Museum of the American Revolution website. So you could get a punch tin pattern, and then just using a push pin, you can punch all the little holes with your foil underneath. So a piece of foil will get little holes in it to match your pattern. And then with a little tea light, hold on. This is hard to see, but there are some stars made with dots, and then the light comes through. So that's pretty cool. All right, and then finally, Unearth the Planet story. I thought we could do some geology and talk about drilling into the earth and taking core samples of the earth to study as geologists do. So in this jar, I put layers of different colors of Play-Doh. You could also layer in between like some sand and gravel. And then they could pretend that the straw is their drilling into the earth. Let's see, we'll see what we drill in here. All right, so you can see there's different layers, just like there are different layers of the earth. So we could talk about that. And similarly, you could do the same thing with cupcakes. So we could layer your batter with different colors of batter, basically. Layer the cupcake, different colors of batter, put frosting on it. Children can first predict what they think their core sample will look like. All right, and then it would look something like that. And of course, the beauty of this one is they get to eat their cupcake at the end. Okay, and so those are all my activities. Hope you all have a great summer. Thank you.
Thanks, Karen. Okay, our next presenter is Jessica.
Hi, good morning. Again, my name is Jessica Berry, and I am the circulation manager at the Bordentown Library. My programs are, I've got some real passive ones, some real hands-on ones. I've got some for dinosaurs, some for history. We're going to start with the more passive one. So Sharon brought him up earlier, but this is Digby. He is the CSLP summer reading mascot. I thought it'd be fun to include him in some of my program ideas. The first one is Where's Digby? It's a weekly, monthly scavenger hunt that you can do in your children's area. You just hide a little picture of Digby somewhere and then just instruct the patrons to go find Digby. From there, after they find him, you can either do, you can offer them either like a specialty craft or like a little prize. You can enter their, you can put them into an entry for a drawing, just something that kind of keeps them engaged. And you can, hide him as often as you want. You can move him once a week, every day, every other day. That's up to you guys. I also have another craft with Digby. So it's to make a Digby squishy, which if you've never done, it's super easy. All you need is 2 printed pictures that are mirrored. You cover them completely in packing tape and then cut one of them out, cut the excess off completely, and then the other one you cut out, leaving a little bit of an edge, and then cut tabs around the edge so that when you put them together, the tabs around to kind of keep the 2 pieces together. Before you fully close it, add a little bit of polyfill, stuffing, or like shredded up tissues, close it off, excuse me. And then you get your squishy. This is the one I made a couple months ago. You can squeeze him and he will keep his shape. It's just a fun one. I think on the website, I've included a coloring sheet version of it so that the kids can kind of color in their own Digby, customize them as they want. This would be a good one for like families, especially with all the cutting. But yeah, it holds up pretty well because I squeeze it a lot. My next one is messy, so I'm not going to take it out because I'll have to go wash my hands. But if you've ever seen Jurassic Park, you know that they create the dinosaurs using DNA that they found from a mosquito in amber. So this is kind of a play on that. This is insects in amber slime. I'm going to show you. Sorry if you don't like spiders. This is a clear glue slime recipe. This one was clear glue, baking soda, water, contact solution, and then a little bit of orange food dye. You mix that all up and add in your insects, your little dinosaurs, and then the kids have a fun, messy craft that they can do. Again, I'm not going to take it out because it's really gross. My next one is more of a history one. This is my friend Morty. He is a bendable mummy. You make him using garden wire that you bend into a body shape, and then some white fabric of some kind. This one is like a muslin. If you've got like a white like t-shirt, I feel like that works better because it's a little stretchier. But you just take it and you wrap around to cover the frame, and then you've got your mummy, and then you can move his body around. This is a good one for teens or adults. It's like a fun, just little decoration. I like to have them sit on my desk, like lounging like this. You know, he just sits and he just hangs out. It's super easy, and again, this one is more for like teens and adults. Another like teen and adult craft is a reverse tie-dye dinosaur tote bag. So you grab, I don't know if you can see it. So you take black tote bag, a black t-shirt, black bandana, like anything that is a black cotton fabric, and then you make your stencil. I did this one with cardstock. If you have access to a Cricut and some removable vinyl, it will give you a more like detailed design. But you print out your stencil, and then in a spray bottle, mix equal parts bleach and water. And then you take this into a well-ventilated area, and then you just spritz it, and then it'll reverse tie-dye. It'll take the color out and leave a really cool design. Once it's like dry, you can wash it and dry it to have it not have the bleach spread. And then you got like a cool beach tote bag or a library bag. This could be another like family craft. The kids can kind of help design it. They can put like leaves or like their names or whatever, and then you just spritz it together and make a tote bag. My next idea is called Dino Dash. This is going to be a relay race for kids. You will break up the kids into rounds and then have them go one at a time. You have an action wheel that you will spin to tell the kids how they're going to move. And then you get a die that they will roll to see how many spaces they go. So this one, it says walk backwards, and then they're going to walk one space for that. After the first kid goes, next kid will continue that. So they spin the wheel, frog jump, roll the die, 4 spaces. They keep doing that until the first kid crosses the finish line. After that round is done, the next kids will go. You continue until you get a winner in each round, and then do one last time to see who your dino king or queen of the library is. My next and the last one is very, very detailed, but luckily we've already created everything, so you don't need to do anything else. A coworker and I came up with the Amazing Race Library Edition. You will break your teens or adults up into teams and hand them an envelope for their team color. Inside of it will be a map of the area that you are doing the activity in. This one is like my program room. And you will see that you've got all of the continents listed. The goal of this is to visit every continent and do an activity. And the first team to get back to the pit stop wins. Which you can see right there, the pit stop. So you will, when they start, they will get their first clue. So this isn't the exact order that we've got it prepared, but this is just what I've printed out. So it says the first clue is teams must travel to the continent where temperature is always cold, which would take them to Antarctica. At Antarctica, they will do an activity. This one is a roadblock, which means that only one person from the team can participate in it. Once they have finished the activity, they will get their clue for their next continent that they have to go to, and so on. And they will continue to do that until they get back to the pit stop. It's very detailed. I don't have a lot of it here because it's hard to like show everything. But you know, we've created everything that you will need. And it's also just very customizable because you know your library space better than I would. And so you can, you know, change up what you need to make it work for you and for your patrons. And that's it. Thank you so much. Hope you guys have a good summer.
Great. Thanks, Jessica. Next up is Alia.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Alia. I am the Youth Services Librarian at the Edison Public Library. And so my summer always starts about 1 to 2 months before summer reading with decorating. I really like to decorate my space. I love to hang things from my ceiling. Like I really go above and beyond. Um, so what I'm doing this year is I was thinking, well, how can I make the space feel like we're like back in like the Jurassic Age or whatever the hell I call it. Thank you. And we're doing vine. I don't know if anybody can see it. We're doing like vines that are hanging from our ceiling. These are made from paper. It's all paper chain. This is a recycled book that I just cut up. And it's super simple to make. This is great for when you have teen volunteers and you're basically just you're cutting your stuff into one strips. You're folding it over and not creasing it. You're stapling it, and then you're doing that again for every single one. And then you're just making sure that the pages are staggered so that you come up with like this kind of effect. And then it'll look in the end like this. And then you can make it as long or as short as you want. And then you'll just put up in various places. And it's like a little like immersive addition to your summer reading. And then we're gonna hang this around like one of the poles that are in our children's room, and it's gonna look like a giant tree. So that's what we do. So decorations are out of the way. It's summer reading time. Something that we always start with during our kickoff is we make reading buddies. So this year, our reading buddy is actually going to be a mummy. It's a Matchbox mummy, um, and it's made from clay. It's super tiny, but it's really fun, and it's something that our patrons take to story time with them. You know, we have them bring it to like what to our programs when they go out in the world, you know, take pictures with them, post them on their Instagram, share them with us, and you can get like extra tickets to go towards like one of the grand prizes. So that's really fun. And you just need Matchbox, and then you can use the Crayola magic clay because it's colored, so it's a little bit easier and they don't have to paint it. And inside I just use like red clay, and I just kind of like just like made into like a little like log shape. And then you can put yarn over it, or you could put the clay over it, and then it just sits in here, and then they can just take it all around town with them. So that's something that we do with like the olderish kids, and it's always one of the stations in our kickoff party. Something else that I'm going to be doing this summer is for the littler kids, we're going to read Princess Dinosaur, and we're going to do a medieval dinosaur party, and they're going to make her little hat over here, and they're just gonna make something like this. And you just need square paper. I use this from Michaels. It comes with a bunch of different like designs and stuff. And then you just fold it so it's cone shaped, and then they can just decorate as much as they want. And then just put two hole punches in the side so that you could put like the thing, and then it'll just sit on their head, and they'll have like a cute little thing while you do a dance party. If they don't want that kind of hat, you can make just a regular crown. And this is just like the cardstock version of a felt sheet. I don't actually know what it's called. It was donated to us, but and then they can they can decorate it. You can put stickers on it. I just did this like really funky, weird um design. And then it kind of also looks like Where the Wild Things Are hat. So that's also cute. And so that's it for the early learners. So I'm going to throw them away, and we're going to move on to the older kids. And something that I'm doing with the older kids is we're making little like a shadow box wall out of a canvas panel. So they're filling it with bugs. So it's going to be a bug shadow box wall. And we're making bugs out of like really weird, oh, that's upside down. Really weird like shapes that they're going to put together. And then they're just going to put like the pipe cleaner so that it's bendable. And then they're just going to stick it in here. Oh, and it actually does stick in there. And well, whatever. And then it'll look like that. And you can do like different things. This one I made out of origami. This one is like those little fuzzy balls. So, and then it looks like that. And then the back, I just stuck a recycled book and pages, so it looks like wallpaper. So there's that. If you want to age it up a little bit, you could do a butterfly program. And instead of doing this, you're just going to have them make different butterflies and tape them along the back, and they can make like little cards about like what kind of butterfly is it? Where does it originate from? You know, like what kind of species, like all that stuff. So that's like another way of like of doing that program. If you're looking for other like older kids, teen stuff, we're also making these sun catchers. And they're little, it's super tiny, like really, really small, but they're little jeweled sun catchers, and we're doing like a gem program on them. So they're gonna like learn about like gemstones, where you can find stuff, you know, like how do you know like that a rock is valuable? How do you know that there's something inside of a rock? Um, and all that jazz. Or we're making these ones. These ones are easier than this. So this is a lot more accessible to like a wider range of patrons um if you're looking for that. Sorry, it's a little weird. Okay. So this is a, I don't know if you can see it because of the glare, but this is a chicken wire frame, and I just used a jewel kit, sorry, a gem kit. You can use a gem kit to make this, and it's just jewelry wire that is kind of taped onto like these little like side pieces, and it just makes this, and it's really cute and really fun. And then we're also doing time capsules. This is made from a Clorox box, but you from a Clorox whatever it's called. But you could also use a Pringles can if you wanted like something smaller. I like this because it holds a lot more stuff. And I just put construction paper around it. I taped it, and then all these stickers are just scrapbook stickers. So it's like a really fun, easy program. And then you can talk to your kids about like, you know, like how are people going to remember us 100,000 years from now if they excavate this? You know, how are they going to remember you? Is it going to be from like your DS, your phone, your whatever weird things are going on? If you're looking for more like programming like things, we always do a after hours program every summer. And this year we're doing a night of the museum, like library edition. And so they're gonna make like miniature like Native Americans, because that's what was in the movie. They're gonna make little like paper monkeys that they can put on their shoulder because he has a monkey. And then you could also tie it to America 250 if that's what you're trying to do, because Teddy Roosevelt and whatever American things are in that movie. I can't remember. Or you could do like an Indiana Jones program. That one's really fun. There's a lot of like after hours things or like just big party things you don't have to do as an after hours program. And I actually think that's for me. So yeah, I hope everybody enjoys their summer.
Great. Thanks, Alia. All right, our next presenter is Rita.
Hi, I'm Rita. I'm the children's librarian at South River, and I am going to start with my ideas for the little ones. This first is a tape rescue. This is cardboard. You could do this on your table, like where you do story time, or you could do it on the wall. It's just little dinosaurs, and they're taped on with masking tape. And the idea is for the kids to like peel them off, and then they can play with them. It's kind of simple, but um, works fine motor skills, and it's fun, and it's really easy to set up. So I also have I do a lot of sensory bins with my little ones, and I found these teeny dinosaurs that I think will be perfect for them, but also like a million other things. They're like the little ducks, but they're like teeny tiny dinosaurs. They're super cute and fun. These could go in sensory bins, but you could also use them to put in like your fossil stuff, or you could like hide them around the library. There's like a bazillion things you could do with them. Um, they sell them in bags of 500 on Amazon, and they're not that expensive. Okay. I also do a lot of messy programs. Those tend to be really popular. Obviously, everyone loves slime still. Um, so my slime is Dino Snot. This is super simple. It's just 2 ingredients. It's clear glue and then this magic liquid, which I've never used before. It's great. Super easy. I put in also green food coloring to make it snot, but you could make it dino drool and just do no food coloring, and then it would be way less messy. But I got these little takeout containers and some dino stickers so they can like decorate their container. They make their slime. Everything is in here. It's self-contained. Um, Easy. I mean, as easy as slime can be. If you don't like making slime, I did find these slime eggs at the dollar store. They are Easter eggs, but I think they're like actually would make better dinosaur eggs. They're really cute. But there's no mess involved and you don't have to destroy your meeting room or anything. Okay, so another messy program is fizzy dino eggs. And this is a great STEM program because you can talk about chemical reactions and whatnot. It's just baking soda and water and food coloring. And then you drop vinegar on it and it fizzes. It's, oh, and then the more vinegar you put, the more it fizzes. I mean, I'm sure people have done this before, but this is a really fun program. And then once they have there's a dinosaur in here, by the way. Once they've like unearthed their dinosaur, then they can play in the liquid. It's kind of like it feels, I don't know, it's fun. It'd be a fun sensory thing for kids that like slime and that kind of icky texture. They'd love it. Another like fossil type thing is these breakable dinosaur eggs. These are made with play sand. This guy kind of fell apart because I've been carrying him around for a long time, but it's play sand, cornstarch, and water, and you just like mix it together until you get it to the right consistency, and then you kind of like pack it. I used these little bowls, and Easter eggs were two of the things I tried. They both worked okay, but then once it's fully dry, then the kids can like break the dino out. Um, and this, I left his tail sticking out so like that you could see it, but ideally your whole dinosaur would be covered and then they would unearth their dinosaur. Um, they do take a while to dry though, so you would need to leave extra time for that, or like let them make them and then have some already done that they could break if you wanted to do it like that. Another program that is, I mean, it's kind of not messy, but I think it is messy. This is like a decorate a dinosaur. Somebody suggested last name Dazzle Sores or Blingosauruses. I thought those were really good. Because I couldn't think of a good name. But anyway, I just took like the dinosaurs that you get at like Target or the dollar store, Walmart, just the bigger ones like that you buy individually. They're usually like $1. This guy I painted, I gave him a little necklace. This guy got a glitter bath, but you could just like leave out like um glitter, paints, pom-poms, like whatever weird random craft materials you have, hot glue guns, and let people just like decorate their dinosaur in whatever way they want to. Um, okay, so for the older kids, I made these little cardboard dinosaur friends. Like this is just cardboard boxes. There's a template that'll be online. You cut them out, you paint them, and then you can play with them and they're really cute. Um, I also made a little dinosaur fairy garden. This is a fake plant. You could do these with real plants. I just didn't want to because I carrying it around, I didn't want to kill it. But you can buy packs of succulents on Amazon for like $25 for 20, I think. Um, but anyway, um, these are just like little dinos, some stones and moss and either real plants or fake plants, but they're cute and fun. I just used a tiny pot because it's what we had on hand, but you could do this with a bigger pot also. Um, I also made a terrarium nightlight. I think the light has, oh, it does still work. You probably can't see it, but anyway, it's just a dollar store jar, dinosaur, some fake plants. This one you do need fake plants. And I just glued it in, glued the tea lamp to the top, and that is a cute little fun project. For like teens or adults or older kids. I crocheted this little dino friend, and he's actually like not that hard. I mean, if you could look closely, he's like his arms are crooked and they're kind of hanging off, but it's not perfect. I'm not really good at crocheting, and I was able to do it. So like I think this is a project that people could actually do. And I finished it in like one desk shift. So like this is doable for a program. You don't need to have a ton of like experience with crochet. This is a little dino felt friend. I sewed him. I think you could also do him as a no-sew if you used fabric glue, but this is just a fun little thing. Let's see. Okay, so another thing that I always like to do is cooking programs. I feel like food always brings a lot of people. So some of my dinosaur cooking program ideas, the first one is herbivore cups. So they can make their own ranch dip. You just use buttermilk, like powder, and you can mix a bunch of herbs and spices together. And the cool thing about that is they can use what the things they like and leave out whatever they can experiment with it. And then it's Greek yogurt and mayonnaise. You mix it all together. So then they make their dip. And then I have these little plastic knives that I got from Walmart. They are not super sharp, like they're not going to cut you, but they will actually cut like vegetables and stuff. So I will give them some vegetables and a knife and let them cut their veggies and try out their dip. Most of the cooking programs I do involve like 900 pounds of sugar. So this is nice to do something that's like a little healthier. Okay, so back to the sugar. I found these molds on Amazon. These are like bones. And if you put white chocolate in them, they look like dino bones. So you can give them these little chocolates, give them some Oreos, let them crush them up, and they would have their own little edible fossil dig. You could also do like a dirt cup with fossils inside where you layer like pudding and dirt, and you could put the fossils in and talk about how like fossils are made and layering, so make it like STEM. But those are my ideas. So I hope you enjoy them and have a great summer.
Great. Thanks, Rita. All right, our next one up is Gina.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I want to start by reminding all of us that summer is fun and we are fun. So we should be having fun with our summer programming, right? So one of the things we like to do to get the kids in the community excited about summer is have a bookmark art contest for the kids to participate. And this year we're doing K to 12, grades K to 12. Last year we tried to include the adults and didn't get such a great response. So this is certainly something you could do with the adults in your town if they are more artistic or willing to contribute. But I brought some samples from last year. So let me try to, a sixth grader made this. This is Color Our World. So this is like just an example of like some of the things that the kids create. And on the other side, we had like a QR code with a link to our page, our website, and some other information. And this was an example of like a kindergartner. So, oh no, sorry, this was a second grader. This is a second grader. So hopefully you can see that without too much glare, but it's just an idea of things that you can do. We distribute the forms through our schools, and it's another way for us to strengthen our partnership with our public schools. And we always get a really great response from all the kids. And another thing that we do to get the kids excited about summer and our summer programming is visit the elementary schools, and we do a skit. We act out a little fun mini play. It's very silly. There's usually a chase scene and lots of ridiculousness, and the kids love it. They tell us it's their favorite presentation of the year. This year, the skit is called Unearth a Story, very nuanced title. And we wrote it for 3 characters. There's like explorer number 1, who's like an enthusiastic, prepared teacher, librarian type. And then explorer number 2 is more like curious, childlike, a little impatient, just wants to dig everywhere. And then, of course, our 3rd character is a dinosaur who loves to read. We're not going to read through the skit here, but it will be up in the notes that Rachel talked about earlier, where all of our activities are posted. And as always, if you have any questions about any of these activities, please feel free to reach out to us. And then, so we like to do things that are interactive with the children also. So we don't have much space to decorate, but we do have a big wall space. So this year we decided we were going to do, our mascot is a really cute library llama. Their name is Legend. So we are doing Legends Dino-Mite Story Wall. I know. And there's a picture of Legend with their books. And what we are going to do is put pictures around the library, or actually take pictures of the dinosaurs that are roaming our library, and change it up every so often on the wall. And it'll be like, look what Legend found in the library this week. And on the wall, we will also have story prompts. And this will give kids an opportunity to learn a little bit about the dinosaurs. We'll have like some fun facts about the dinosaurs, and then they can write their own stories and be creative. And that will be one activity for in our activity booklet. So let me do this last. So the next thing, again, we're big on community participation, community interaction, trying to get everybody involved. And so as part of the USA 250, we're working with the schools, and we decided to do something that's the theme of USA 250 that we're going with is what unites us, right? So for the library part of it, what unites us, what I thought of was food, because everybody loves food. So we're just doing a community recipe book, and we will have people submit their family's favorite recipe. And again, this is something kids can do, teens can do, adults can do. We don't only want just the recipe. We want to know why it's important to your family. Did your grandmother make your favorite cookies every year on your birthday? Did your mom make like a super special something for your favorite holiday? Like why, or is this like your favorite thing to eat on a Tuesday night when you're tired? Like we just want to know why it's special to you. And we are going to share that. We'll have a PDF file right on our website, and we'll also keep like a printed copy in our local history room. And we're super excited about that. My final thing to show you, and I brought last year's examples. The way we organize our summer reading is not by number of books read. That's not how we award prizes. It's not by the time you read. Those are different components in our summer reading. And we also don't call it summer reading anymore. We tried to call it summer learning, like our summer learning challenge, and that just sounded a little too clunky. So we're just going with summer challenge. Like this is our library summer challenge. And what we do different activity booklets for the kids. And they're broken down. Well, this is this year's. right? It's Unearth a Story. And I took the categories from the CSLP manual and kind of just made them a little bit more kid friendly, right? Like the paleontology, we're calling dino diggers because, they're 5. The sustainability section, we are calling Recyclosaurus. And the other sections I have are Earth Explorers and History Detectives for Archaeology, and Our Stories, Our History for the USA 250, and then Readasaurus for the reading. And the way we do it is we have different activities, and some of them are community-based, some of them are individually based, some of them are family or friend-based, and the kids get to choose which activities they complete. And when they complete 4 activities, they get a stamp, they get a prize, and then they get an entry into our drawing for our grand prizes, which are also theme based on the different categories. And I know this sounds like a lot, but it'll all be up on our site. And again, if you ever have any questions, you could always reach out and let me know. We found doing it this way sort of takes the competition out of it, right? There's always so many kids are stressed, and they're stressed even early at a young age. And so we kind of wanted to level the playing field and keep it fun. Like, you get to choose the activities that you do. You get to choose how you participate and show up. You get to choose, whether you want to complete the whole thing or just do certain parts of it. It's all up to you. And that is all I have. I hope somebody got some sort of inspiration from something my amazing colleagues and I presented today. And I hope you all have a wonderful summer. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Gina. And our final presenter today is Beverly.
Hang on. I'm here. I don't know if you can see me because I just have a square.
No, we can see you.
Okay. All right. Hello, I'm Beverly from the Dover Free Public Library. And the first thing that comes to mind this year is dinosaurs with this theme. But I'm doing adult programs, and I just couldn't see 6 weeks of dinosaurs for my adults. But Unearth a Story is, as you've heard, way more than dinosaurs. So my focus will be on archaeology and unearthing history. Most of my things are also good for teens, and most of them can be adjusted for children. I wouldn't go as far as preschoolers, but that's what you can do. This is the year for lecturers on armchair tours, especially if they're doing ancient sites around the world. The other area you can go into are lectures on famous paleontologists and archaeologists. This summer, my book club will be reading Remarkable Creatures by Tracy Chevalier, which is a historical fiction about Mary Anning, who was a young girl who helped discover many dinosaur skeletons on the coast of England, but she didn't get credit for it until recently, even though her skeletons are in museums in Great Britain. There are a number of book titles that you can find on our Pinterest page. Another idea is to have a movie marathon to show a series of movies, either all in one afternoon or over one per week over the summer. It's real easy to find some. Jurassic Park has enough movies to do for a whole summer. Indiana Jones is another one. You could do Ice Age and make it a family program, or Night at the Museum. So let's start with unearthing the American history story to tie in with the America 250 celebration. If you go on the America 250 website, there is a way for patrons to submit their own American story, and I would encourage them to do that. You can also collaborate with your local historical society to present the history of your own town, or go on the New Jersey 250 website and find local history that you can encourage them to explore. In the manual, there is a project to make a Stars and Stripes lantern. You can either use a mason jar, or this one is a recycled spaghetti jar. And the manual says to use tissue paper and cut up tissue paper and glue it onto your jar. I made it even easier. I found some patriotic napkins. I undo the layers, and you can either use Mod Podge, or you can water down Elmer's glue, paint it on the jar, put the tissue paper over it, and then do another layer of Mod Podge on the top and stick it. This one's dying because I made this years ago. Stick in a tea light and you have your own patriotic lantern. You can dig up your personal history. As Gina suggested, this is a good time to bring out the family recipes that have stories attached to them. I'm hoping to have people bring in their family recipes and share about why that recipe is important. And then, as part of the program, they can make a collective recipe book. This one is made out of those, it's hard to find now, but those cheap photo brag books. If you type in brag book on Amazon, you can find these. They're cheap enough that you can take the original cover out and make your own cover. And then I'm hoping to make copies of everybody's recipes so everybody can collect them for their own pages. You can use the fancy recipe cards, but you can also just use 4x6 index cards. If you don't want to go the brag book route, you can simply just collect them, make a cardstock cover, and put all of them together with a book ring. Just punch a hole in the corner and you've got your own recipe book. This is also a good summer to do a genealogical research program. There's probably somebody on your staff who could teach how to do this, or you can invite someone to speak about how to do geological research. Both of these ideas you'll find in the Unearth a Story manual. The rest of my suggestions have to do with ancient sites around the world. And so the first place we're traveling to is Peru and Machu Picchu. And I found a YouTube tutorial on how to a llama draw along. The link will be on our website. It's real simple to draw the llama. The llama was really simple. I went the extra mile and painted mine in. I did it on a canvas. In the YouTube video, she makes a rose crown for her llama. My Peruvian library assistant tells me that's not accurate. So we made pom-poms instead and gave a pom-pom trim for her necklace. But this was a fun one to do. The next place we go is to ancient Rome. And I was inspired by their mosaics. So I found some kits on Amazon for making coasters, mosaic coasters. They have round ones and square ones. The kits come with everything you need. It comes with the tiles and the glue and the grout, even plastic gloves and a sponge for cleaning the grout off the top. My one holdback with this is you have to wait for the glue to dry before you put the grout on. So one thing about those kits is they do come with everything. So you can do the tile portion, send it home with the rest of the kit. The grout doesn't need to be mixed, and the sponge is there. So all they have to do is add the grout when they get home after it has dried. I thought they were beautiful. So that's one suggestion. If you don't want to do all the gluing and grout, you can make a paper mosaic, or last year we did those mosaic sticker posters and I had found this in my drawer. I had all of these left over from last summer's sticker mosaic. So I used them to make my own. I found some inspiration online for Roman tile. And I made my own with the stickers. The only thing I would suggest is that you draw a pencil in a grid from side to side and from corner to corner to help you line up your squares just so. But it really was not very difficult to do. Now let's go to Greece. And I was inspired by Greek vases and their designs. And I tried to make something with clay and it just was not working because the clay would dry and fall apart. So I found a make your own scratch art recipe online. And that's what I decided to do. So print off a shape of a vase, color it in with crayon. Orange is probably the best. Make it as thick as possible. And then you're going to take black acrylic paint and a couple drops of dishwashing liquid and paint over the whole design. Cover it over. And then get out some Greek designs after the paint has dried and use a skewer or toothpicks, or if you still have those skewers from doing scratch art, you can scratch off your Greek design on the vase. It really was fun to do. The only difficult part was figuring out how to do the Greek key, but you can practice that with pencil and paper while you're waiting for the paint to dry. Next, let's go to Egypt. And of course, we got to do the pyramids. So I found a way to make a pyramid-shaped gift box. It's really just folded cardstock or scrapbook paper. This one is scrapbook paper. You can start with a 8.5 by 8.5 inch square of paper, or cardstock, I mean, or the scrapbook paper. Do it on the back. And then you're going to use a ruler and a pencil and trace your design. You're going to make a square in the middle, connect the square to the corners, and then from the corners of the square to the corner of the paper, you're going to draw this slightly curved line, cut it out, and then score the lines of the square, score the lines of the triangle, and begin to fold it up so that it makes a pyramid. And the way you get the pyramid to stay together is by punching holes in the tip of each triangle, and then using a piece of string or a piece of ribbon, weave it through the holes and tie it, and you have this nice, it's really sturdy. You wouldn't believe how sturdy cardstock could be when you start to fold it. So that's for ancient Greece. If you don't like drawing lines and cutting, there's also an origami method that I will link in on our website. Then we're going to take a trip to Stonehenge. So for Stonehenge, take a shallow dish. This is just a cheap bowl from Walmart. I think I got it for less than $2. Ideally, you'll fill it with soil and grass seeds and let the grass grow up. And then you're going to take air dry clay, roll it out to about 1/4 of an inch, and then cut out rectangles. And when it dries, paint them gray. The way I got each one to stick into the dish was I put a toothpick in the bottom of each rectangle. Now, remember, they don't have to be perfect rectangles because if you look at Stonehenge, they're not perfect. I thought I'd have to use glue. I didn't. This has stayed in for a couple months with just putting the toothpick in the clay. And then I arranged them to form a Stonehenge. I used Jerry's trick of hot glue and E6000 to put the cross pieces on. When I just did the hot glue, they broke off in the cold weather. So I go with her trick anytime. It's not perfect. If you look at Stonehenge, it doesn't really look exactly like this, but it's enough that everybody recognizes what it is. Our last destination is the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. And to do that, I thought a good program would be making a plant arrangement in a flower pot. Now, I am not a gardener. I will probably invite a master gardener or someone else from a nursery or whatever to come teach this class. But basically, you're just going to take plants of various textures and various heights, and then definitely include something that hangs over the side and put them in a pot. So that's a great way to represent the hanging gardens of Babylon. So thank you very much. I hope you try some of these ideas this summer for Unearth a Story. And don't forget to let the adults have fun too. Thank you.
Great, Beverly. Thank you so much. Everyone on the committee did a really great job of all of their presentations and all of their great ideas. I really hope that everyone got some really good ideas to unearth this at their libraries. Does anybody else from any of the attendees have any ideas that they really want to share? We have a little bit of time to do that. I am also going to put the summer reading workshop evaluation into the chat. I'm also gonna we'll send it with a follow-up email. And then we'll also do like a virtual raffle where the presenters they're just gonna get the performer raffle. Is there anything else I'm missing? I feel like there's something I'm missing. All of the submissions, all of the programs that you saw today will be up on the njsummerreading.org website. Everything should be able to go live on Friday. I believe I have it scheduled for like 8 in the morning. So once you're able to and it has all of the details so that you can replicate all of the programs that you saw today. I think that's it. Does anybody else have anything that they would like to share?
Yeah, hi, it's Lizette from the Stratford Public Library. Hello, everyone from Camden County, South Jersey. I wanted to add to the programs that talked about the recipes. And an additional follow-up with that would be doing a potluck with those recipes and inviting those persons who sent their recipes. But also add on to that, connect the community by checking out, reaching out to your local restaurants and ask them if they have a special recipe that they like and ask them to submit it and see if they can make a donation for your potluck.
Wonderful ideas, Lizette. At our last presentation, someone said exactly those things. They were like, "Yeah, bring everybody together, and everybody can share the food." And they
That was me.
also suggest,
So I'm going to follow
thank
up
you.
with you. I have your card.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks so much.
I'm going to do some passive programs in reference to that. And one idea I saw is that you can do the footprints of the dinosaurs and then use, I guess, wasabi tape or some kind of tape on the floor and have the young kids kind of match the path, but the path isn't straight. It's kind of wonky. So that's something fun to do. And you also can do a paper version of a scavenger hunt. That's another idea that I'll send where the kids, I would laminate a poster size and have the kids circle when they find the different dinosaurs. So my focus is going to be a lot of passive things because we're a small library and we only have 3 staff members. So anything that I can do passively is going to be very helpful to add to it.
That's great, Lizette. Thank you for sharing.
Yes, great. Those are great ideas, Lizette. Thank you. Lizette, at the last at Cherry Hill, you had said that you had the files for them. If you email them to the NJLA Summer Reading at Gmail email, I could add it to the website as well.
I'll do that then. Sure, for sure.
Yep. Does anybody else have any other ideas? Anything else you want to share? Comments, questions, funny jokes, limericks, poems, anything?
What would be helpful is for those who presented, some of you have already posted links to where you've purchased things, but that would be helpful I recently was somewhere at a local dollar store that we have in Mount Ephraim called Kenny's World, and I actually found little dinosaurs, which surprised me because I wasn't looking for them. I was looking for something else. So, but anything, any links that can make it helpful to us would be very appreciated.
Oh, one thing I wanted to mention, Gina, when you were doing the dinosaurs superimposed in the library around the room, that was part of your
Right.
globe, right? I actually put the link to the Amazon globe in the chat because it's on sale. Did you want to go say a little bit more about that by any chance?
Sure, sure. And thank you for that. So I did use what is called an Orbit globe, and those globes use technology to make it look like, let me grab the paper again, to make it look like the dinosaurs are actually like in your library. But it is on sale, and thank you, Sharon, for adding that link. But you certainly don't have to do that. You could just get drawings of dinosaurs and put them in the shelves, or even maybe put like stuffed dinosaurs around if you have them and take pictures, or Photoshop dinosaurs into the pictures of your rooms. But this is just like a kind of a fun way to use what we had in the library. And I thought it was cool that it does this. Like, this guy's trying to get into our story room, and the kids are going to lose it when they see that. You know? So yes, Sharon, thank you. Thank you so much for bringing that up. But the globes are on sale, I think, right now for around $17. And we have those in our library that circulate as part of our library of things. And we also have the kids use them in-house. So they're somewhat familiar with them.
Great. I think that's it because I think we're running out of time. Please remember to fill out the evaluation. We'll send out a follow-up, just, with the evaluation, and we'll also follow up with the performer raffle. Sharon, did you have something else you wanted to add?
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say that I'm going to send out a CE certificate to everyone. You can just fill in your name, and I'll also include a link to the evaluation in that email.
Yep. I think that's it. Thank you all for coming to the virtual workshop, and we hope you have a great summer.
Thank you. Hi, everybody.
Hi, thank you.
Thanks, everyone, for being here.
Hi,
Thanks for
everybody.
attending.
Yes, thank you. Okay.